Grand Rising. Collective. As a collective. Stay focused and selective.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have the president of Ukraine with us. We've had a lot of good discussions, a lot of good talks.
A lot of energy draining last night. Did anybody else feel the energy last night? Like it's like people didn't get any sleep last night, even though you slept last night.
President of Russia.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I think there's a possibility
Grand Rising,
that
Grand
something could come
Rising.
out of it. And today's meeting is very important. We have, I guess, the seven very powerful leaders from Europe, and we're going to be meeting with them right after this meeting. And thank you very much for being here.
Thanks so much, Mr. President. If I can, first of all, thank you for the invitation, and thank you very much for your efforts, personal efforts to stop killings and stop this war. Thank you. And using this opportunity, many thanks to your wife, First Lady of the United States. She sent a letter to Putin about our children, adopted children, and my wife, First Lady of Ukraine. She gave the letters. It's not to you, to your wife. Yeah. So we have a sensitive topic. Yeah. Yes, please. And thanks to our partners, and that you supported this format. That after our meeting we can have leaders who are.
Donald was hoping somebody's wife wrote him a letter. Donald was like, "Did somebody's wife write me a letter?"
All partners around Ukraine supporting us. Thanks to them. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much.
Come on, if we can get this peace deal done.
Yes, Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So
We need to get this peace deal done.
You say in the Post Times today, Russia must end this war, which it itself started. President Trump, you say President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to, which is
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we're going to have a meeting. I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat. And I think there will be a reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
And is this the end of the road for American support for Ukraine? Is today's meeting deal or no deal?
Not
I can
the
never
deal
say
or
that.
no
It's
deal.
never the end of the road. People are being killed and we want to stop that. So I would not say it's the end of the road. No, I think we have a good chance of doing it. It's been almost 4 years.
Donald Trump used the presidency as like the apprentice.
Last week, I mean, millions of people killed, but a lot of people last week, for whatever reason, a big number, a lot of soldiers, on both sides. And I know the president, I know myself, and I believe Vladimir Putin wants to see it ended.
And you met with Putin on Friday.
Y'all share the live. Share the live out. Share the live out. Share it out. Share it out. Share it out. We're at the 6-minute marker. I mean, we can show the screen. All right, so share that live out. Share that live out. We're just trying to keep y'all informed on everything that's going on before the Trilateral meeting. So we're just updating everybody on everything that's been going on up until now before the Trilateral meeting. And then we'll keep you posted on the Trilateral meeting and everything that takes place afterwards. So right now, phone calls have been made. No ceasefire is in order, but some things are getting done. So the reason why nobody wants to put the ceasefire in order is because both parties probably think that they're winning the war, and they think a ceasefire will give the other party time to get reinforcements and reserves and so on and so forth. So both parties is looking to say, you know, we got them on the ropes, and a ceasefire will stop that, allegedly. So that's why that's, you know, the pros and cons of a ceasefire. If, you know, peace was the goal, then yeah, a ceasefire should be put in order until we can come up with some sort of arrangements. But Putin is looking at it like a ceasefire is not the end of the war. So we can go with a ceasefire, but then, you know, NATO support and other support can back up Ukraine soldiers and so on and so forth, and then they'll start it back up again, right? So Putin's saying, like, if it's no peace, then there's no cease, you know? No peace, no cease. That's what Putin's saying, you know? Trump and them is more so, now Trump is saying, you know, he can do it without the ceasefire. But before he was saying, you know, you needed a ceasefire in order to move to peace. But now his, you know, points have changed.
So you've got President Zelensky here. As you listen to Russia and Ukraine, which side has the better cards?
Well, I don't want to say that. I'm just here to be, look, this isn't my war. This is Joe Biden's war. He's the one that,
Joe Biden's war.
And we want to get it ended.
This is Joe Biden's war.
End good for everybody. We want it to end good. The people of
No, it's
Ukraine
not.
are
It's
suffering.
Ukraine and Russia's war.
And so that's President Zelensky, are you prepared to keep sending Ukrainian troops to their deaths for another couple of years, or are you going to agree to redraw the maps?
Thank you for your question. So, first of all, you know, we live under each day attacks. You know that today have been a lot of attacks and a lot of wounded people, and the child was dead, small gun, one year and a half. So we need to stop this war, to stop Russia, and we need support American and European partners, and we will do our best for this. So, and I think we showed that we are strong people. And
Is
we support the
this
idea of the United
this sounds more like a
States
plea to
President
join NATO.
to stop this war, to make.
It sounds like his public,
and we're ready for.
like
That's why
basically, you know,
it's a good signal.
him basically
I think this is
publicly
where-
graveling
Thank you.
to join NATO.
If the peace deal will be achieved, are you going to be willing to send American peacekeepers to Ukraine?
But we're going to work with Ukraine, we're going to work with everybody, and we're going to make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long term. This is very long term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. We're going to make sure that everything's good. We'll work with Russia, we're going to work with Ukraine, and we're going to make sure it works. And I think if we can get to peace, it's going to work. I have no doubt about it.
Your team is talking about security guarantees. Would that involve U.S. troops? Would you roll that out in the future?
We'll let you know that maybe later today. We're meeting with 7 great leaders of great countries also, and we'll be talking about that. They'll all be involved.
I think what it is like America is extending their hand, if you would say. So, now that he has like 7 major European leaders at the table, right? This is a way to sell arms to them, right? A weapons race, however you want to look at this, right? So we cut a deal with all 7 people at the table to provide, you know, air supply, you know, how to make these equipments, this equipment, whatever the case may be, and training classes. And then they will supply the military support, right? So the European leaders will be in charge of bringing in the people and supplying the people. And then America deal is a trader's deal.
But
If
there'll
that
be a
makes
lot of,
sense.
There'll be a lot of help. When it comes to security, there's gonna be a lot of help. It's gonna be good. They are first line of defense because they're there, they're Europe. But we're gonna help them out also. We'll be involved.
Vladimir Putin mentioned that the war will not end without addressing the root causes of this war. Have you had an understanding what are the root causes of this war?
Well, look, the war is gonna end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're gonna get it ended. It was, you know, I've done 6 wars, I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one. A lot of reasons for it, and they'll be talking about it for a long time, but they'll be talking about the others. Look, India,
Y'all share the live out.
Yeah.
Hit that like button at the top of the
When you
screen.
look at,
Put ones in the comment
when
section.
you go to Africa,
Ones in the comment section is gonna bring more people in the
And the
room.
Congo, Republic of the Congo, that's been going on for 31 years. And so we've done a total of 6, and we really have 6, not including the fact that we obliterated, and it turned out to be a total obliteration, the nuclear, as you said, the future nuclear capability of Iran. And this one, I think we're gonna get solved also. I think.
Golden,
I feel
what's going on
confident
with
we're
you?
gonna get it solved.
Mr. President, can you tell us about your conversations with European leaders and what they need to see to support an end to the war?
Yeah, well, we're gonna be meeting with a great representative group and 7 very powerful, very big countries and great people, all friends of mine.
Shout out to the numbers that we've been pulling in. I know it's kind of early, so it's not going to be that many people coming in right now because it's 7 something in the morning. But around 8 or 9 o'clock, our numbers should go up dramatically once people starting their day. You know, and then we'll go over to TikTok and play the game over there for a little bit. Hold on, let me go live on Ralph the Wise over there so I can get some numbers.
We're gonna have a lasting peace. Just to answer the first part of your question, we're gonna have a lasting peace. I hope it's gonna be immediately. I hope it doesn't have to go on. And I think people in the whole world is gonna be very happy when that's announced. Yeah, please.
You posted on social media, Mr. President, a very touching letter from the First Lady, and the letter was hand-delivered
Entertainment purposes
to
only.
President Putin. And it calls for an end to the war, essentially, because of the children and the children's future. Why did the First Lady feel that letter was necessary? Was it because she believes that Mr. Putin is the aggressor in the war? Is a similar letter being hand-delivered to President Zelensky?
So the First Lady felt very strongly. She's watched the same thing that you watch and that I watch. I see things that you don't get to see, and it's horrible. But when she's got a great love of children, she has a wonderful son that she loves, probably more than anybody, including me. I hate to say it, but she loves her son. She loves children, and she hates to see something like this happening. And that goes for other wars too. I mean, she sees the heartbreak, the parents, the funerals that you see on
Now hit that like button.
funerals. We want to see.
Hit the three dots at the top of the screen and find out that thumbs up. Hit that like button.
Very well received by him. And she did ask me to say, you know, she would love to see this.
Right hand
end.
corner,
She would
3
love to
dots.
see it end, and she says it
3
very
dots in the
openly,
right-hand corner.
and-
If
and
not,
I'm
hit
very
that
sorry
arrow
for
button
so
and
many
share the
people.
live. Hit that arrow button and share the live.
Last week
Brian, go ahead, Brian.
Yes, sir, I've got a question for each of you.
Yes.
First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks
I
good.
said the one that attacked you. See, that was it.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
The same suit. You see, I changed you.
Maybe yours is much better. Real quickly, upon peace, God willing we get peace, are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances.
Listen to what Trump said.
We need to work in the parliament because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, maybe, how to say, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, in the sea, yeah, to make it possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
So you say
we are
during
ready.
the war, you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now, so you mean we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections, oh, it's good. I wonder what the fake.
You like this idea?
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of news, I got a question for you. This sounds insane for me even to ask this, but do you think the American media really doesn't even want a peace deal? Because they've seen they've been so critical of you every step of the way as you lead the charge for peace.
It's an amazing.
No, we want
I
peace.
said that if in the settlement.
We want
you got
peace.
Moscow, St. Petersburg, and thousands of miles around them, they would say I made a bad deal. The level of hatred and animosity is incredible. Not with all. I mean, we have great people up here. We also have terrible people up there that I think are told what to say. But, you know, in solving all of these wars, they don't even write about it. You know, I saw major wars. I saw wars that have been going on for 31, 35, and 37, and a couple of quicker ones.
I
One
saw
that was
wars
gonna
before they even got
Go
started.
into a full-blown deal very quickly. You know what the one I'm talking about, it was a big one. But they don't even write about that. No matter what I do, no matter what, and you know, this is not anything to do with you, it's probably to your advantage in a certain way, but no matter what I do, no matter what deal I make, from my standpoint, you'll come out good. Maybe President Putin will come out good, but they'll say Trump was absolutely horrible. It's just that, and I've lived with that for a long time. I've lived with it since just before the first election. I used to get great publicity. Now I get the worst publicity anyone's ever gotten in office, but I won in a landslide, so that people understand. They're the only ones that count ultimately. But I've also had great reporters. I've had journalists that are very good. But it's very sad when you do the right thing. As an example, they said, because of the fact that Vladimir Putin came to American soil, this was a tremendous defeat for Donald Trump. No, it was really wonderful that he did it. It was a hard thing for him to do, to be honest with you. It was the opposite of what they said, but they said it. Now, if he didn't come, they said that was also bad for Trump. Yeah. There's no way. And there's just a great dishonesty of the press, and I think that's why it's lost its credibility. You know, its credibility is at an all-time low. We have a thing going on right now in D.C. We went from the most unsafe place anywhere to a place that now people, friends are calling me up, Democrats are calling me up, and they're saying...
Democrats are calling him up.
My wife and I went out to dinner last night for the first time in 4 years, and Washington, D.C.
Democrats, y'all calling him up.
4 days. I'll tell you, it's safe. I had another friend of mine, he has a son who's a great golfer, he on tour, and he came in fourth yesterday in the big tournament where Scotty Scheffler made the great shot, and he said his son is going to dinner in Washington, D.C. tonight. I said, would you have allowed that to happen a year ago? He said, no way, no way. He said, what you've done is incredible. And I think the people realize it. But the press says, he's a dictator, he's trying to take over. No, all I want is security for our people. But people that haven't gone out to dinner in Washington, D.C. in 2 years are going out to dinner, and the restaurants, the last 2 days were
I'm
busy.
telling you, Trump, there is a better way.
I walked around yesterday with MTG. If you can walk around with DC with MTG and not be attacked, this city is safe.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week. we
Nobody
warned
knows what
of
MTG
we call
is.
Severe consequences. If a 30-day ceasefire or any type of ceasefire were not agreed to by Russia, will there be severe consequences? Does that change because of
I
the
don't
meeting
think you
with
need a
President Putin?
ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, well, you know, one country or the other wouldn't want it. You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and, you know, maybe they don't want that. But if you look at the 6 deals that we made peace and you know, long-term, long-running wars, I didn't do any ceasefires. Would I like the concept, you know, I like the concept of a ceasefire for 1 week.
Yeah, the first time he was pushing for the ceasefire. Remember they cursed him out? They remember the first time in February they cursed the Ukraine president out. You know, told him like, you're saying that you don't want a ceasefire, like you're winning this war. That, you know, the cards are not in your hand, so on and so forth, right? And now he's saying like, oh, we can come up with peace without a ceasefire. So, you know, that's why the Ukraine president brought backup this time, because he was like,
We worked
know.
a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other. But all of these deals I made without even the mention of the words ceasefire.
Can you explain the decision to offer Ukraine Article 5-like security guarantees, but stop short of pushing for their full membership?
Yeah, well, we haven't done anything on that yet. If you look back and you go back long before President Putin.
just tell the
There was
truth.
always
Y'all
a statement
opening the
that
door
would
for
never
them to
allow
join
Ukraine
NATO.
So that was a statement that was made, but.
All this really
we haven't
is a
discussed
door
anything.
for them to
We're
join
discussing
NATO.
it today. But we will give them very good protection, very good security. That's part of it. And the people that are
It's a
waiting
great
for
way
us,
in.
They are, I think they're very like-minded. They wanna help out also.
Thank you, President.
It's a great way in. It's a lot of money to be
The
made.
United States.
That's
the
what
United
everybody's
States has already
looking
given
at,
hundreds
the
of
money
billions
that's
of
being
dollars
made.
to this war effort in Ukraine.
See, look, watch
At
this.
best, it is a stalemate and the killing continues. So President Trump, how much more is the United States willing to give Ukraine? And President Zelensky, how much more do you want?
Watch President Zelensky say, we want everything. Listen, watch.
This is something before, I guess the number is well over $300 billion. That was under Joe Biden, a corrupt politician, not a smart man, never was. By the way, go back 40 years, he was not a smart man 40 years ago either, but now he's in particular bad. This was done by a corrupt administration that shouldn't have been in, and frankly, if the right results of the election were given, if I were president, this war would have never taken place, and he would have been very happy, because he would have liked to have seen. I mean, they went through hell. He went through hell. This war would have never happened, and the people that were killed, a couple of million people, a lot of people with soldiers and everything else.
You say Trump
And the
want, you
people
say,
that were displaced and forced into other areas and other countries because of what's happened, none of that would have happened. And I'm just saying that he was a horrible president, whether it was the borders or this, he was just a horrible, corrupt president.
I can think so much. So first of all, we have possibility now to buy weapons from the United States. We are thankful for this program and this opportunity.
now, this is my question. What took place in the Ukraine that they now have stability to buy weapons off America? What happened over there? What took place that they're now, did their minerals go up? Did their, mining go up? Like what, how do they now have this ability to pay for the weapons? Because of the war? Because of the assistance from NATO? Is that what this meeting about? Was trying to get Ukraine means to pay for the weapons? Because that's what you hear, all this money talk, And 9 times out of 10, if you want the truth, you got to follow that money. You know?
Me too. I'm thankful for Europe. They pay for this, and through NATO.
Okay, Europe paying for it
We have
through
some
NATO.
funds where we can have some money to finance this, and this is a part. I think it's not a part for the war and to defend us. It also will be a part for security guarantees to strengthen our army, to rearm Ukrainian army. This is very, very important, and it depends how much money we need to rearm. For example, the question of air defense, we spoke about it with President Trump, and I'm happy that we have now bilateral decisions.
Yeah, Putin underestimated Ukraine's army.
Nobody in Europe has
Or
so
Ukraine's
many,
assistant.
Air defense like Patriots,
You know?
for example. We need it very much, and this is also about defending.
I think we make the best military equipment in the world by far. You mentioned the Patriots. How good are they?
Systems.
We have systems, they're literally 100% foolproof. And it's really like shooting 2 bullets. You know, 2 bullets hitting each other in the air in a space like this. The chance is 100%. It's 99 to 100%. So we sell the equipment to NATO. And NATO does what, I don't know what the arrangement is that you have with, but I know that they want you to have the equipment. And we're getting the best equipment in the world, but they pay us for the
See?
equipment. Under Biden, it was just crazy.
So we sell it to NATO, and then NATO gives it to them.
It could be $350
So this
million.
opens up the door for agreement with NATO, a
And we
bigger
made more progress
arms
settling this
agreement.
war in the last 2 months than they made in 4
This is an
years.
arms
It
race.
should have been settled a long time ago, but it should have never happened. Yeah, please.
You pushed out on social media.
All right, Brian, go first.
You pushed out on social media about doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you expand on that and how important?
This is a paid question.
Just really quickly, mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in.
Brian brought in the damn mail-in ballot question during the time of talking about war. Come on, Brian. Who paid you for that?
With an executive order.
Did Trump tell you to bring that shit
by the
up?
best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses it because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing.
Where the fuck? That question came out of left field. Where the fuck Brian come at with that question?
All the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than.
So tell us about mail-in ballot. We ain't got another election for 3 years.
We would get secure elections, we'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're gonna have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, but most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots.
All right, like Brian, where the fuck you come from with? Read the room, Brian. Read the room, Brian.
End mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have
Somebody
mail-in
tell
voting,
Brian to
you
read the
take power
room.
with this commission, they set
Read
it
the
up.
damn
They
room,
said the
Brian.
one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the.
Do it look like we talking about votes, Brian?
Because the Democrats
Go
want-
stand in the corner.
It's the only way they
Put
can
your
go
dunce
along.
hat on. You remember in school they give you that hat to put on your head?
Transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things. And now the new
Go
thing
put your
is
dunce hat
they
on.
love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I made Washington D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad. I hate to take your time in this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. We're going to stop
Of course you're
mail-in
glad.
ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way, and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in, they even asked me, they asked me for my license plate, for identity. I said, I don't know if I have it. They said, sir, you have to have it. I was very.
But if we go digital with votes, our votes can be rigged by other countries.
As you know what
That's
happens in
stupid.
California, it's so corrupt, where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them. Now, we gotta stop mail-in voting, and the Republicans have to lead the charge. The Democrats want it because they have horrible policy. If you have mail-in voting, you're not gonna have many Democrats.
Oh, he's
that like
saying
it.
keep it the
That's
same,
bigger than
just
anything
take out
that
mail-in
Republicans,
voting.
believe me. And and
Make them get out there to the booths.
We're not gonna have.
Make them go in and
I
vote.
said for a long time at rallies, you need borders and you need free and fair elections. Those two things, otherwise you don't have, we have strong borders now. In 90 days, Mr. President, we didn't have 3 months. Not one person came in illegally into our country. In fact, even I find that hard to believe, but it's run by a little bit of a liberal group that put out the numbers, so I guess it's, but 0, 0, and 0. You go back a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 millions of people poured into our country. It was terrible. Thank you very much.
What security guarantees do you need from President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
Everything.
Everything.
Really, it's
Everything.
includes two parts. First, strong Ukrainian army. That is what I began to discuss with your colleagues. And it's a lot about weapon and people and training missions and intelligence and
See?
second,
He's gonna talk about the army and stuff with the European leaders, but the weapons and systems and all of that stuff, that's what he's going to get from America. So NATO, America is going to strike a deal with NATO to guarantee excess amount of, military equipment. Now, to the American people, this is not a victory for the American people, okay? But to the government, this is a great victory. $350 billion deal with NATO, so on and so forth. Another deal with some of the other, European leaders that was there, so on and so forth. So, this was nothing more than business. Donald Trump is an excellent businessman, to say the least.
we will discuss with our partners. It depends on the big countries, on the United States, on
Okay, maybe not excellent.
Mr. President,
He did have to file bankruptcy. Okay, he's a good businessman.
protection in order to get President Zelensky to a deal today.
Well, I don't know if you define it that way, but NATO-like, we have people waiting in another room right now. They're all here from Europe, biggest people in Europe, and they want to give protection. They feel very strongly about it, and we'll help them out with it. I think it's very important. I think it's very important to get the deal done.
You've been involved with the peacekeeping in Ukraine since your first day in the administration. What would you say to the Ukrainian people right now who are suffering under the Russian attacks and hoping that the American people will stand with them?
Well, I know Ukrainian people. I've known many over the years. They're great people. They're smart. They're energetic. They love their country. They love their country, and we want to get this war ended. That's all I can do. I love the Ukrainian people, but I love all people. I love the Russian people. I love them all. I want to get the war stopped. Very important.
Is there any aspect of your discussion with Vladimir Putin that left you disappointed?
Look, we just spoke to, I was just telling the president, I just spoke to President Putin indirectly, and we're going to have a phone call right after these meetings today. And we may or may not have a trilat. If we don't have a trilat, then the fighting continues. And if we do, we have a good chance. I think if we have a trilat, there's a good chance of maybe ending it. But he's expecting my call when we're finished with this meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.
A trilag. We gotta get a trilag. If we don't get that trilag, it ends bad. We gotta get that trilag. And that's the only thing that's gonna make, this whole thing worth it, right?
We worked very hard during the past few months.
And so I'm really excited. And let's make the best out of today and make sure that basically with President Putin, by starting that dialogue, and I think it was in February that you had the first phone call, and from there we are now where we are today.
If Donald Trump is for peace, I think we should give it a chance.
And we have to end it. We have to stop the killing. We have to stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war, so I'm really excited. And let's make the best out of today and make sure that from today onwards, we get this thing to an end as soon as possible. I really want to thank you for your leadership, what you are doing for Lodemir, but of course also all the European colleagues. It is really crucial. And the fact that you have said,
You think so, James?
participate in the security guarantees is
You think this is just a way to undermine the America,
so also thank you for that.
you know, democracy?
NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%, which is something that is a massive amount of money, and it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference, and so we appreciate that. That was a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the Commission, you could say a couple of words.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a very important moment. Indeed, we are here, Europeans, as friends and allies. We had a fantastic NATO summit. Together as the two largest and biggest economies in the world, we had the largest trade deal ever agreed. And now we are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest. Stop the killing. And indeed, it's very good to hear that we're working on the security guarantees. Article 5 lies security guarantees, so important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children that have been abducted. And as a mother and grandmother, every single child has to go back to its family. This should be one of our main priorities also in these negotiations, to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine, to their families.
Thank you, and we did. I was just thinking we're here for a different reason, but we just a couple of weeks ago made the largest trade deal in history. So that's a big thing, and congratulations. That's great. Thank you very much, Ursula. Mr. Chancellor from Germany.
See, you mentioned a trade deal with them. Biggest trade deal in history with them.
Today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that the two of you
Look at her face.
having such a good meeting today.
She might be over it already.
The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones now. The path is open. You opened it last Friday. But now the way is open
Her
for
arms is
complicated
crossed.
negotiations. And to
You
be
see
honest,
her?
we all would like to see
Arms
a
crossed.
ceasefire, the latest from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place
You know what?
without
That's one thing that I wanted to talk about. The bio labs that was in the Ukraine, the black people that they were, you know, experimenting on, so on and so forth. They said America was forking over, allegedly, supposedly, they said America was forking over a lot of funds for these experiments that was going on in Ukraine. And that's why they feel so obligated to, you know, protect them, you know, or keep them, you know, keep their secret or whatever. I'm not sure. That's why I say allegedly, right? But, you know, what's going on with that? You know, Putin taking, you know, 20,000 children from the Ukraine. What's going on with that? Why? What was the, you know, I know Russia ain't got a problem, you know, fornicating, so what's going on with their, you know, procreation? That, you know, or was they going to use them as soldiers? Was they going to use them as spies? Is it more? Is it like the Russian training thing that they go through? You know what I mean? Well, Mr. D, enlighten us, Mr. D, because we're just throwing stuff in the air right now, okay? And that's why it's called a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we just jungle, you know, throwing stuff in the air, okay? You know? No answer is the wrong answer, as they say in school, Mr. D. In this sense, no answer is the wrong answer, okay? We're just speculating, all right? It's just a speculating talk over, okay? That's all it is.
ceasefire. So let's work on that, and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today, are depending on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations.
See, this is what I didn't understand. Like, why is this dude still keep on talking about a ceasefire? Putin already said it's not going to be a ceasefire. Trump already said, many wars have been, closed without a ceasefire. Trump said it gives any part a disadvantage if a ceasefire is put in. So why would this dude repeat 4 times in his, statement? We need to work on a ceasefire. We need to get a ceasefire. We need to get a ceasefire.
Next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to see a ceasefire from the next
ceasefire
from the beginning of the serious negotiations from next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to see a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral.
That's probably why Putin was deadlocked with them, because if you got to keep on, if you keep repeating the same shit.
We'll see how that works out, and if we
I
can.
already told your ass no.
I'll say it again, I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo was 31 years long. Another one that we settled last week with 2 great countries was 35 years going on, and we had no ceasefire. So if we can do the ceasefire, great. And if we don't do a ceasefire,
people, right? Where the shit that benefits the people, the collective? Where's that talk at? Signing a deal, we never gonna see no money from that. Billions of dollars getting passed around, we never gonna see no money from that. That's going in the pockets of all of these.
I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed, thanks to you, thanks also to the stalling in the battlefield, which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. And the reason why I mention it is that we also have to remind that if we want to reach peace and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. So that's why it's a very good day, the one we are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace. We will talk about many important topics. The first one is security guarantees, how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5 model, which was Italian at the beginning. So we are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue. It's something we have to build together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel?
Thank you, Mr. President, for organizing.
It was originally Italian, and we are always accepting of old Italian stuff.
I just have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace. And we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up, we will need probably a quadrilateral meeting, because when we speak about security guarantees, we speak about the whole security of the European continent. And this is why we are all united here with Ukraine on this matter. In order to organize such a trilateral meeting, your idea to ask for a truce or ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discussed, is a necessity. And we all support this idea. And in order to have such a long-standing peace for Ukraine and for the whole continent, we do need security guarantees. And the first one is clearly a credible Ukrainian army for the years and decades to come. And the second one is our own commitment, all of us. And we worked very hard during the past few months amongst the coalition of the willings with the support of NATO to build the different pillars of security guarantees and our commitments. And you can be sure that Europeans are very lucid about the fact that they have their fair share in these security guarantees for Ukraine, but their own security is clearly at stake in this situation. So you can count on us as we can count on you in order to deliver this,
their own security is at stake in this state. Like,
thank you
very much.
right. You could tell everybody's there to worry about their own.
President, and
What does this mean for us? What does this mean for us?
Can I start where
What does this mean for us?
We all want peace. The war in Ukraine has had a huge impact, particularly on the Ukrainians who've borne the brunt of it, but it's also had an impact on Europe and on the United Kingdom. There's not a family or community that hasn't been affected.
They need
And when
these
we talk
weapons.
about security, we're talking about security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe, the United Kingdom as well, which is why I think this is such an important meeting. As a group, I think we've had a discussion on the phone a number of times, Mr. President, but be able now to be around the table to take it forward. And I really feel that we can, I think,
Yeah,
with the right
they got a
approach, make
Facebook
real
group.
progress, particularly on the security guarantees, and your indication of security guarantees of some sort of Article 5 style guarantees fits with what we've been doing with the Coalition of Willing, which we started some months ago, bringing countries together and showing that we were prepared to step up to the plate when it came to security, with you coming alongside the US, alongside what we've already developed. I think we could take a really important step forward today, a historic step actually, could come out of this meeting in terms of security for Ukraine and security in Europe. I also feel that we can make real progress towards a just and lasting outcome. Obviously that has to involve Ukraine, and a trilateral meeting seems the sensible next step. So thank you for being prepared to take that forward, because I think if we can ensure that that is the progress out of this meeting, both security guarantees and some sort of progress on trilateral meeting of some sort to bring some of the difficult issues to a head, then I think today will
How
be
so,
a very
Hummingbird?
important day in recent years. In relation to a conflict which has gone on for 3 and a bit years, and so far nobody's been able to bring it to this point, so I thank you for that.
Where you're from, represent so.
Allies. We had it.
Today onwards, we get this thing to an end as soon as possible. I really want to thank you for your leadership, what you are doing for Volodymyr, but of course also all the European colleagues. It is really crucial. And the fact that you have said, I'm willing to participate in the security guarantees is a big step. It's really a breakthrough, and it makes all the difference. So also thank you for that.
Well, NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%.
They're all
which
greedy.
is something that is a
It's
massive
greed.
amount of money, and it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference.
It's a lot of
And,
greed.
So we appreciate that. That's a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the Commission, you could say a couple of words.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a very important moment. Indeed, we are here, Europeans, as friends and allies. We had a fantastic NATO summit. Together as the 2 largest and biggest economies in the world, we had the largest trade deal ever agreed. And now we are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest, stop the killing. And indeed, it's very good to hear that we're working on the security guarantees, Article 5 lies security guarantees, so important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children that have been abducted. And as a mother and grandmother, every single child has to go back to its family. This should be one of our main priorities also in these negotiations, to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine, to their families.
Thank you, and we did. I was just thinking we're here for a different reason, but we just a couple of weeks ago made the largest trade deal in history. So that's a big thing, and congratulations. That's great. Thank you very much, Ursula. Mr. Chancellor from Germany, very great leader.
Mr. President, dear Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that the two of you are having such a good meeting today here in Washington. The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones. The path is open. We opened it last Friday. But now the way is open for complicated negotiations. And to be honest, we all would like to see
Thank you.
the latest from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place without a ceasefire. So let's work on that and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today are dependent on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations from the next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to see a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral meeting wherever it takes place.
Well, we're going to let the president go over and talk to the president, and we'll see how that works out, and if we can do that. I will say, and again I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo, was 31 years long. Another one that we'll see how that works out, and if we can do that. I will say, and again I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo, was 31 years long. Another one that we settled last week with 2 great countries
Y'all
was
tap the
35
screen.
years going on, and we had no ceasefire.
Keep the
So,
interaction going in the comment
great.
section. If y'all keep the
And,
interaction going in the
if we don't
comment
do a
section, they'll
ceasefire,
keep people coming
just
in.
Many other points were given to us. Many points were given to us. Great points. Please, George.
What do y'all think?
Well, thank you very
Victory?
much, Donald, Mr. President, for hosting us today.
If
This
we getting a
important
victory,
meeting.
we gonna get a
And
victory with this one?
I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed, thanks to you.
Victory or
Thanks
no?
also to the stalling in the
Victory
battlefield,
or no?
which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. And the reason why I mention it is that we also have to remind that if we want to reach peace and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. So that's why it's a very good day, the one we are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace. We will talk about many important topics. The first one is security guarantees, how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5 model, which was Italian at the beginning. So we are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue. It's something we have to build together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
Emmanuel.
Thank you, Mr. President, for organizing this meeting and for your commitment. And everything was said, but I have to say...
Yeah, you gotta be positive, people. You gotta be positive. We're gonna get some peace out of this, I promise you. Because this puts them at the table. This opens up the door, you know? And, you know, there's peace in other measures of this that could take place, right? We got to bring back some finances to America. We got to bring back factories to America. We got to, you know, put America back to work again. America has gotten lazy, you know. We made it too easy for each other. Now, maybe we can do it with digital, you know, moving over to social media, a lot of the streaming and stuff. Maybe we can, you know, capitalize and put people back to work that way. But if that's the case, then we still got to open up the door for the people that are in the physical labor field. You see how lazy those kids is at the fast food restaurants? They always messing up your order, always putting the wrong shit in the bag. They hearing it wrong when you're giving the order.
Clearly a credible Ukrainian army for the years and decades to come. And the second one is our own commitments, all of us. And we worked very hard during the past
I could pause it and I could rewind it back whenever you want me to. See, look. Let me play it back for you some. See? Right there.
And we worked
This
very
ain't
hard,
this
very hard.
what they saying ain't going nowhere, you know what I'm saying? I could fast forward, rewind, you know, we could make it a blockbuster night. You know what I'm saying? You okay? If you miss something, just let me know. I'll rewind it for you. I'll be kind. Rewind.
The past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why
Make sure y'all sub to the page, man. Hit that subscription button.
Very important because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up, we will need probably a quadrilateral meeting because when we speak about security guarantees, we speak about the whole security of the European continent. And this is why we are all united here with Ukraine on this matter. In order to organize such a trilateral meeting, your idea to ask for a truce or ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discussed, is a necessity. And we all support this idea. And in order to have such a long-standing peace for Ukraine and for the whole continent, we do need this security guarantee.
Yes, I got Instagram.
And the first one is clearly a credible Ukrainian army.
Hey, you know about that blockbuster era, huh?
And the second one is our own commitments, all of us. And we worked very hard during the past few months among the coalition of the willings with the support of NATO to build the different pillars of security guarantees and our commitments. And you can be sure that Europeans are very lucid about the fact that they have their fair share in these security guarantees for Ukraine, but their own security is clearly at stake in this situation. So you can count on us as we can count on you in order to deliver.
One thing we got to remember is that the world is one big stage, right? And in our history, we were familiar with Ukraine being a part of Russia, right? A part of Ukraine is a part of Russia, Mother Russia, whatever the case may be. And if we go back to the KGB days, all of that stuff, you know what I mean? So, like, this was all a ploy, you know? Russia never wanted Ukraine to be a part of, you know, NATO, and Biden put his foot in his mouth when he said that they could be a part of NATO. And a lot of this stuff could have been avoided, but you got to remember, we're not dealing with people who actually are out here worried about, you know, the people. We're not, you know, they're worried about the minerals. Remember, that 144 crystal, the 144 crystal, the 115 crystal, these crystals are back in activation, right? A lot of cathedrals and stuff like that, they got ether catchers on the top of them. So they know that the ether has returned back to this plane, right? So a lot of minerals are more important now. A lot of crystals over there in Russia are more important now. And if anybody is in here from Russia or from, you know, those countries, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. We have seen a upsell on natural minerals and so on and so forth, right? They know about these crystals. They know about the activity. They know about the, you know, and then there's a lot of oil and stuff involved and a lot of money involved. You know what I mean? So that's why you hear Trump talk about the, you know, 300 billion and, you know, 350 billion and closing the deal with this group and that group. You know, there's a lot of money involved with this, right? On top of that, you have our change of currency that's taking place. Our currency is changing whether we like it or not, right? Our operation of currency, right? A lot of banking system has already changed their operation of currency, and that's why you don't see Visa on your cards anymore. That's why you see MasterCard. MasterCard is accepted anywhere, right? Visa was only like America, you know what I mean? So we see a change in the currency. I'm not saying we're going to brick currency or anything like that, but there has to be some sort of currency change, right? Remember, we backed up a lot of our Federal Reserve with that oil, you know, and the Federal Reserve is damn near empty, if not depleted, allegedly, supposedly, right? And we backed it up with a lot of that oil. There's just a lot of stuff going on in the world, you know? A lot of stuff going on in the world, all right? So let's just open our eyes and just take heed.
For this peace for both Ukraine and Europe.
This ain't about, it's a lot of population control, so on and so forth. So this ain't about the people, because they're not sitting here talking about the kids. 20,000 kids snatched from their homes, 20,000. I can't even imagine. And we got immigration going on here. Remember, it was kids missing here.
The United Kingdom was not a family or community that hasn't been affected. And when we talk about security, we're talking about security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe and the United Kingdom as well, which is why this is such an important issue. I think this is such an...
Well, if you go back into like Julius Caesar and Cleopatra and stuff like that, and Cleopatra's Needle in the UK, we might not really understand what the activity up under our ground is. We might not understand what's taking place, right? But when Constantine told the secret about the 144 awakening, right? The 144 was a connection that made as above, so below, as without, so within possible. Do you get what I'm saying? So the 144 that will awaken was a connection to your mind and the galaxy. It was a connection to your body with the earth, right? The Lee lines, the chakra systems inside of you, and your 144 chromosomes that's inside your 12 strands of DNA. So you might have 12 strands of DNA, but there's 12 within inside of 12 strands that make 144, the same as the cosmic laws. The cosmic laws hold 12 within inside the 12. Constantine's trick was to stop people from understanding the cosmic laws. So when you understand the as above, so below, then maybe you'll be taught about the as without, so within. Until you are, ready to, exceed past the things that you were taught, linear thinking, right? You're never going to really or truly understand the as without, so within. So you have to understand the as without, so within in the Aquarius sky, in this new time. You have to understand that. Because right now, things are changing inside of your vessel, your holy sea. The waters inside of your vessel is changing. Just like you're watching Polaris take place outside, or the poles changing outside, or a reset, or whatever you want to call it right now, things are changing inside of us. Your sleep is changing. Your eating is changing. Your dream states is changing, right? What you want around you is changing. How you see things is changing, right? We're going through a great change right now. The only matter is it changing for the better? Is it changing for the worse? I'm going to lean towards peace because I want to appeal to a higher version of myself. Hey, we can go watch the Congresswoman Luna. We can go watch not Congresswoman, but Rep Luna, Anna Luna, and she'll tell you, she was just on the Joe Rogan show like 5 days ago or something like that, and she'll tell you. You can go look at the information that's coming out from the Pentagon right now about the UMPs and all of this stuff coming out, right? They'll tell you that there's stuff that's telling you that people down here are multi-dimensional beings, so on and so forth. The government is disclosing some of this stuff now.
Important meeting. As a group, I think we've had a discussion on the phone a number of times, Mr. President, but be able now to be around the table to take it forward. And I really feel that we can, I think, with the right approach...
You guys might not know about the energies and stuff that's being manipulated down here, but there's a lot of energies and stuff that's moving around down here.
Article 5 style guarantees, fits with what we've been doing with the Coalition of the Willing, which we started some months ago, bringing countries together and showing that we were prepared to step up to the
Yeah, they
plate
wearing the
of
same
security.
shoes.
With you coming alongside,
No, they
the
favor
US
each other.
alongside what we've already developed, I think we could take a really important step forward today, a historic step actually, to come out of this meeting in terms of security for Ukraine and security in Europe. I also feel that we can make real progress towards a just and lasting outcome. Obviously that has to involve Ukraine, and a trilateral meeting seems the sensible next step. So
Now, what does this do for China? What does this do for other places that Russia is, does this open up the door for a possible sit down with some of them, right? Does this open up the door for a possible sit down with some of these other countries, right? I seen more recently Putin might be sitting down with India, right? So we don't know what that's about. There's a lot of shaky stuff going on right now. A lot of shaky stuff going on right now.
I think if we can ensure that that is the progress out of this meeting, both security guarantees and some sort of progress on trilateral meeting of some sort to bring some of the difficult issues to a head, then I think today will be seen as a very important day in recent years. In relation to a conflict which has gone on for 3 and a bit
Why you can't be
years,
getting involved with
and
me,
so
James?
Nobody's been able to bring it to this point, so I thank you for that.
Peace out
Thank you
then,
very
James.
much. And it's very interesting.
You have a great
because
day,
this
James.
is the first for the White House. You can't say that very often. It's seen a lot over the years, since 1800, 1799, to be almost exact. But this is the first where we've had so many prime ministers, presidents, the heads of European nations. And by the way, Alex, I'd like you to say a couple of words too. You're a young, powerful man. Before I finish up, I want you to say a couple of words. Go ahead.
I'll take the notion of youth back to my wife and try to convince her. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I think in the past 2 weeks, we've probably had more progress in ending this war than we have in the past 3.5 years. And I think the fact that we're around this table today is
Now,
very
that's a gloat right there, right? Because the president, this is nothing but, the ego stroking stage, because he said, in the past 3 weeks, we got more progress done than over the past 3 years, right? That's like stroking Donald's, ego right there. They all played nice with him so they can get what they want, right? And then NATO comes in and they're like, we were deadlocked with Putin. We couldn't get him to sit down at the table. So thank you for at least getting a sit down with him, right? It's like, oh, man. And I get it. I hope that this peace thing goes through, right? I hope it goes through, right? But if they keeping facts from each other, the fact is, Putin's not giving up the territory, right? Putin's saying that these places, we keeping these, right? Now, when you're talking about the 20,000 kids, why did they release the prisoners of war already, but they didn't release these 20,000 kids yet? When are they going to release these 20,000 kids? Back in February, the Ukraine president allegedly said that, well, he said it. He said it. It's not allegedly that he said it. He said that they took 20,000 kids, changed their names, so on and so forth, and they want the kids back. You see Ivanka, you see Melania write about the kids, right? You see the other lady that just spoke, you see her bring up the kids, right? Why haven't the kids been released? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm misplaced. I'm not supposed to be properly placed. It's my mind. Everything is placed in my mind based how I want to perceive it. You're going to perceive this reality how you want to perceive it. I'm just open-minded enough to, just look at all things. James.
symbolic in the sense that it's Team Europe and Team United States helping Ukraine. And the progress that we're looking out of this meeting is about the security guarantees, which are a big part
of this, and then of course moving towards a process with a trilateral meeting with you and President Putin and President Zelensky. Some of the international media might wonder,
so it's just a
why
fabrication.
is the President of Finland here? I think the reason is probably that we might come from a small country, but we have a long border with Russia, over 800 miles. And we of course have our own historical experience with Russia from World War II, the Winter War and the War of Continuation. And if I look at the silver lining of where we stand right now, we found a solution in 1944, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find a solution in 2025 to end Russia's war of aggression and find and get a lasting and just peace. The situation is very difficult, but that's why we're here.
Thank you, Alex, very much. Good job. So we're going to be meeting for a while, and we're going to discuss some of the issues. And I don't think there's any issue that's overly complex. It's at a point now where people want to do things. I really do believe. I've known him for a long time. I've always had a great relationship with him. I think President Putin wants to
Stop the boat. Stop the boat.
President Macron, thank you for...
You chose the lie created for you just to hide in. Why obsessed about surviving? Fighting over creation made for all to thrive in. When love speaks, you say you're listening. I wonder if you hear me.
Love is love, love is love.
Always is, always was, will always be just love.
Always complete, always enough.
Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love.
Always complete, always enough.
Love is love.
Was your heart ever my home? So cold,
the chaos sits on your throne.
Stuck in the loop for how long?
Your pride convinced the right is wrong.
This is Atlas Family Music Production. So we make our own music over here. This is one of our songs. You can check it out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or other platforms. This song, the name of this one is called Love is Love. It's from the Atlas of Love album. So you can go check that out on Spotify. But yeah, check out some of our other songs.
When I speak, you say you're
listening. When will you ever hear me?
love is love, love is love. Always is, always was,
Will always be just love, always complete, always enough.
Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love.
Always complete, always enough.
Love is love.
See, it looks like this.
Was your heart ever my home?
So cold and chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in the loop for how long? Your pride convinced that right is wrong.
When I speak,
You say you're listening. When will you ever hear me?
love is love, love is love. Always is, always was,
Will always be just love, always complete, always enough.
love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love.
Always complete, always enough.
Love is love.
Now I'm from New Jersey. That's me. Oh, who's the balding guy up there?
searching for the higher power, looking for the real thing. By the day and by the hour, to the source I'm gonna cling. If you call, he's going to answer. If you want, he's gonna show. But no, I'm not just some believer. This is something that I know. If you knock, he's going to answer. If you ask, he's gonna show.
Jersey City.
Cause he's not just some creator.
CMD.
It's unconditional love, love, love. His love is unconditional. His
love is unconditional.
We don't need a good imposter. Don't need no knockoff king. In this world, I'm just a foster. Truth is what I'm here to bring. Cause if you call, he's going to answer. Trust that he's gonna show.
You came across the best thing on YouTube. That's what you came across, Jordan. The best thing on YouTube. Welcome in. Welcome in. Make sure you sub. It's unconditional. It's unconditional.
So glad I found the highest power. So glad I found the real thing. I'm with them in the highest tower. My people, are you listening? If you call, he's going to answer. If you want, he's sure to show. No, I'm not just some believer. This is something that I know. If you knock, he's going to answer. If you ask, he's gonna show. No, he's not just
some creator. It's unconditional. It's unconditional.
It's unconditional.
It's unconditional.
His love, his love is unconditional. His love, his love is unconditional. His love, his love is unconditional.
For your time, we really appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to speak with you.
We are honored to have you here to speak with us.
Is this
Mr.
the guy y'all
President,
talking about? Y'all
taking
can't stand his
inside
voice?
Your meeting at the White House today, those high stakes talks, are you now closer to reaching a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine?
Look, I do hope, and I really believe it was an important meeting at the White House this 18th of August with President Zelensky, President Trump, and a series of European leaders here. All of us, we want peace. All of us. From day one. And this is very important. Second, all of us are very clear that we want to stop the killings as soon as possible. You can call it a ceasefire, you can call it a truce, an armistice, but we want to stop these killings. Number three, all of us, we are clear about the fact that we want a robust and long-standing peace, which means no peace without what we call security guarantees. Why? Because we want to preserve Ukraine from risk of new aggression after this peace, and we want to contain Russia as an aggressive power vis-à-vis the rest of Europe. Here are our objectives.
See? That right there. That right there. That right there. So you coming together for the containment of Russia and Europe. I'm not sure if my Instagram link is on there. It might be. The Instagram, it might be on there. I'm not sure if it's on there. I'm pretty sure it's on there. I'm not sure.
And I think we did.
I'm pretty
because
sure
we
I'm not
converged
sure
all
it's
of
on
us
there.
First to
I
work
do
very
have
actively on
Instagram.
security guarantees. So from tomorrow we will work very actively. And you know, we launched in February this year this coalition of the willing. We have now 30 countries, and we co-share with the UK this coalition. And this coalition will work very actively now with the United States of America, which is a great news, in order to provide, the day we have a peace agreement, these security guarantees together. And second, we decided as well that a bilateral meeting between President Zelensky and President Putin will be organized, and this is the clear outcome of the discussion at the end of our meeting between President Trump and President Putin. And this bilateral meeting will be followed by a trilateral meeting between President Zelensky, President Trump, President Putin. And I propose as well, as a follow-up, that we enlarge and have a multilateral meeting, because the Europeans, probably the Turks as well, and some others have to be around the table, because we don't just speak about the security of Ukraine, but the security of the whole Europe. So on all these points, we had a clear convergence. And for me, it was very important today, after the meeting between President Trump and President Putin in Alaska, to have this clear convergence of Europe and Ukraine and the US on these key outcomes.
I want to delve into all of those issues. I do have to ask you, President Trump was overheard on a microphone talking to you, and he said, quote, "I think he wants to make a deal," meaning Putin. "I think he wants to make a deal for me." You understand that? As crazy as it sounds. What went through your head when he said that to you?
I think if, at the end of the day, if we have a deal which is compliant with this,
it's probably staticking and everything. That's probably why y'all leaving out. It's probably staticking.
And your president indeed is very confident about the capacity he has to get this deal done, which is a good news for all of us, and can break this, I would say, this daily killings, which are the responsibility of the Russian aggressor. So I think it's a great news. My point, and this is why we've worked so hard during the past few months to lead this convergence, is to be sure that this deal
is energy of Atlas 111.
Ukraine and Europe. And
it's 4-1. Energy of Atlas 1111.
But we want to make sure that this peace, and so this deal, will be something which will allow the Ukrainians to recover the country and live in peace. To be sure the day after this peace deal that they will have sufficient deterrence power not to be attacked again, and to be sure for the Europeans that they will live in peace and security. So this is the nature of the peace, which will be now the core of our work. But I think this is a great news, and indeed your president is very confident about his capacity to get this deal done with President Putin, and it's great.
Let's talk about the issues. You were very firm. You still think a ceasefire is necessary. President Trump, on his way to Alaska, said that he wanted there to be a ceasefire agreement. Otherwise, he said there would be very severe consequences. Do you think a ceasefire is still possible?
I do hope. Let's call it once again truce or ceasefire. But we have to stop the killings. First, for humanitarian reasons. Second, because if we want sincere, reasonable, comprehensive talks in order to build a peace, you cannot organize this discussion. In the middle of the bombs. Look, today we were with President Zelensky. President Trump called President Putin at the end of our meeting, and we meet again right after this call. In the meantime, the Russian army organized a series of strikes on civilians in Ukraine. So it's impossible for an Ukrainian president and Ukrainian officials to have talks about peace as their country is being destroyed and as their civilians are being killed.
Did you, all of the European leaders, press President Trump on that point today and insist that he continue to apply pressure to Putin for a ceasefire right now?
I will be very clear on that. President Trump was the first one to propose a ceasefire in February. In March, President Zelensky accepted the unconditional ceasefire in Doha. The one who always refused the ceasefire has been President Putin.
So should President Trump impose sanctions on President Putin now?
And President Trump was very clear on the fact that after Alaska, his perspective is not just to have a ceasefire, but a peace deal, which is much more comprehensive. So it could be a good news, but it's clear that a peace deal will not be written overnight. It will take time, probably a few days, few weeks. And during this period of time, we need a truce. This is why I call it a truce, and not a ceasefire, if we want to use a different word. But we have to stop the killings. So we all agree with
it's the same as the
that we have to increase the pressure to stop the killings and to launch a process to have a full-fledged peace agreement. So this is our objectives.
Can he do that? Can you apply pressure to Putin without imposing
I'm very much
sanctions?
in favor of the fact that if at the end of the day there is no serious progress during the bilateral, or if there is a refusal of the trilateral meeting, and or if the Russians don't comply with this approach, yes, we have to increase the sanctions, secondary and primary sanctions, in order to increase the pressure on the Russians to do so. And sometimes I'm very shocked by, I have to say, the fact that a lot of people can present something as just a war between two sides. There is an aggressor, which is Russia. There is a country which decided to kill people, to steal children, and who refused this ceasefire and peace. So we cannot just create an equivalent situation between Ukraine and Russia.
Let me ask you about the discussion over security guarantees.
Yes.
What exactly did you agree to as it relates to security guarantees? Does that mean European troops? And does that mean U.S. troops?
Look, I think for me, it's a very important progress of the past few days that your president expressed a clear commitment of the U.S. to be part of the security guarantees. It's brand new. And last February, when I took the responsibility to gather a series of European leaders with President Zelensky in Paris, and we followed up in London, and we created this coalition of the willing. And it was a reaction to the feeling we had that
and the world come
we could see a
tumbling
temptation
down
to go to a rapid peace, but without any guarantee for Ukraine. And we know what it means. It was Georgia 2008,
all right,
but
here,
it was
just
the war,
type your
Crimea
Instagram
2014.
in.
And there is full
we're
certainty
just gonna
that
make it
if you
easier.
make any peace deal without security guarantees,
What's your Instagram?
Russia will never respect its words, will never comply with its own commitments. So it's for us totally critical, and this is an essential part of any deal for Ukraine and for the Europeans. This is for our own security. So this is a very important progress of the past few days that the US now is willing to be part of this security guarantees. We worked with the Coalition of the Willing, which is co-chaired by UK and France, and we have a very clear view of the content of such a security guarantee. The first pillar
Yeah, somebody trading kids.
is the
You
Ukrainian
know what I'm
army.
saying?
The first security
Something
guarantee
going on.
for Ukraine and Europe is to have an important Ukrainian army which will resist to any new aggression and which will create a deterrence effect vis-à-vis, the attempt to aggress Ukraine again. So we worked on the format of this army, and in fact, what we want is no limitation in terms of number of soldiers, ammunition, equipment, and so on. And who is ready to help the Ukrainians on what? Training, equipments, Patriot system, SAMT, a new generation system, aircraft, and so on, to have this solid Ukrainian army. The second pillar is to be sure that in the air, on sea, on land, we have a support from all the different key partners of the coalition of the willing to come and to support the Ukrainian forces, not to be a substitute. And the obsession and the first priority is not to have our boots on the ground, but to be sure that we have regular operations which our sort of guarantee or strategic signal that it's not just a piece of paper, that the day they are attacked, we will be here. Because this piece of paper, we had it in the past. It was called the Budapest Agreement, and it didn't work. So we want to create a clear strategic signal of our support to the Ukrainian army. And some of the key people of the key countries, part of the coalition of the willing, already committed to do it. UK, France, Turkey, for instance, which has a very important role in the sea, and a series of other countries. So now, from tomorrow, we will start to work with the US, all the members of the coalition of the willing, these 30 countries, from Canada to Japan, Australia, and a lot of Europeans, in order to clearly go to the detail and say who is ready to do what. And this first phase is
Ain't no
very
damn
important
accounts found
and
under
should
no
be
damn High
finalized
Life 2038.
before the trilateral meeting,
That
because these
shit is a
security
whole
guarantees are the one
movement
to
or
put
some
Ukraine in
shit.
the situation
Get out
to
of here.
negotiate.
And now you just got me
Let me
doing
just ask
extra
you,
shit for no reason.
Two very lightning round questions. As you have said, Russia is the aggressor here. And yet President Trump has talked about the possibility of land swaps. There are reports that President Putin wants to keep all of the territory that he's illegally occupied and even more, the entire Donbass region. Is that a non-starter and yet is the only solution for Ukraine to give some of the territory to Russia?
I don't see any swap in the proposal of the Russians, except a swap in comparison with what they wanted at the beginning. But let me be clear on territory. They got a lot of territories after the first phase of the war between February and summer 2022. But because the Ukrainian army and the Ukrainian people did organize themselves very impressively, because we organized unprecedented support, they managed to push them back at the end of the second semester of 2022. And if you take the situation between November 2022 and now, more than 1,000 days of war, the Russian army took less than 1% of the Ukrainian territory. So I want everybody listening to us and watching your program to be aware of the fact that the Russians, they are not performing well there. 3.5 years ago, they launched a special operations which was supposed to last 3 weeks. And during the past 1,000 days, they took less than 1% of the Ukrainian territory. So all those who are saying, the Ukrainians are lost, they will lose, it's a total fake news. Now, when we speak about territory, this is to the Ukrainian president and the Ukrainian people to discuss about it. It's not my job. And it's absolutely unacceptable to have all the leaders discussing about that. And your president was very clear before Alaska as well. Why? Because it's about...
Well, I seen a map. That said that Russia occupies 79% of this area, 76% of that area, 79% of this area. You know, Donetsk, whatever it is. Like, so I don't see how he's saying that they only got 1%. And now that they're speaking about, whatever the lines are going to change or whatever the case may be. I wasn't trying to follow you. I was trying to help you find my page. What are you talking about? I wasn't trying to follow you. I was trying to help you. You know what? Never mind. If you find me, you find me. I don't even give a fuck about that no more. Like, now you want to catch an attitude with me because you gave me a page that I can't find, and then you said it's a private account. All right, so if you knew it was a private account, you knew nothing was about to pop up under no damn High Life 2038. You just dragging me up the shitter. Now you catch an attitude with me and say, I'm not looking for you to follow me. What the I wasn't trying to follow you.
Sovereignty. And third, the day we start accepting the recognition of territories being taken by force, this is just the end.
Stop laughing, Chris. It ain't funny.
How do you want us collectively to be credible?
I'm trying to help that person out.
In Africa. How do you want us to keep having debate on Taiwan? Do you believe, one second, if we recognize part of Donbass or Crimea or I don't know what, and you say, okay, because this is, I don't know what, nuclear power, it's okay. There is no more international order. This is not compliant with the UN Charter. And
so he telling without telling. He basically telling without telling. He's like, let's say Dunbar and Chisinau, I don't know what. And he say, let's say it's because of, I don't know what, nuclear power. Like, you know what the fuck they fighting over. You know what the fuck this about. You know they need that shit.
The day after, our collective credibility, the US, Europeans, all these permanent members of the Security Council will be totally zero vis-a-vis all the others who think we are the guarants.
You see, they keep saying that vis-a-vis.
International.
I'm getting a wrap, but very last question in a few seconds.
See that vis-a-vis?
We are going to see this meeting between President
and vice versa.
President Zelensky. What is
that's a Alison Crowley. That's a Baphomet phrase.
Today that they can
vice
break
versa.
through this logic.
Vis-a-vis.
I think the optimism of your president is to be taken seriously. So, if he considers he can get a deal done, this is a great news, and we have to do whatever we can to have a great deal being fixed.
Vis-a-vis.
But a great deal is a deal with security guarantees and a robust peace. As far as I'm concerned, when I look at the situation,
because they blowing my shit. They messing up my high, my vibe. Where my blunt?
Very willing to get
let me light this shit back
peace
up.
now.
That's why I always just sit around and just smoke because man,
I'm too
y'all
pessimistic. But
shit, man. I be trying to just chill and just be at peace with y'all. Man.
I think it's very important to launch
trying to
this
be
process.
doing all that extra stuff.
I think it's very important we build this security guarantees. This is a game changer for Ukraine and for the European security. And I think we have to launch the process of this bilateral meeting, this trilateral meeting, and this multilateral meeting. But I think at a point of time, probably, we will have to increase the pressure on Russia to be sure they want peace. Because as long as President Putin and his people will consider they can win this war and get a better result by force, they will not negotiate. This is my feeling.
See, this is easy for him to say because remember, you know, he's not the one that share a border, right? If Russia find a different way or a different route, right? It's, you know, a lot of these people are playing the basically, okay, so if they piece things up with Ukraine, what does that mean for Finland? What does that mean for, you know, so on and so forth, right? The only person you ain't really got to worry about is what? Sweden. I don't know what the fuck Sweden got, but ain't nobody trying to fuck with Sweden. You know what I mean? We don't care who he lay with, you know. Oh, let's get some music. Let's get some music. Y'all kind of narcissistic. Talk to us. Yes. Tell me more.
How are you? Good to see you.
You like to talk a lot of smack. You spy and lie, you boast, always gotta do the most behind my back. When you're faced with all the facts, you switch right up, you don't remember all of that. Showing off like you're in a pageant, bragging on about your status. Little do they know there's a real dark method to your madness. All the hate you brew inside, tragic. From a monster to the victim, play the role so well, dramatic. Is that it? Moving on. Now it's time for me to work, wave my magic wand. You're no match for me or the power of my tongue. Let me show you how it's done. I can too terrorize you for fun.
Demon be gone. Shout out to the mods. Comment section looking lovely. Appreciate you.
You're a narcissist. A reaction is your aim. I'll just give you nothing. Watch you lose at your own game. You're a narcissist. It's always your way. It's your lane. Doesn't matter what I try to say. Decline. You want what's mine. Try to bring me down.
It was somebody else.
Can't steal my shine.
Oh, I'm glad I said that. It was somebody else that I was supposed to be putting as a mod. Okay, I think. All right. Who else was it? Who else did y'all tell me? Who else did y'all tell me to mod? Okay. Let's see. Is that it? Just those two, right?
Always wanna start a fight. No rules, never can you lose, no clue. Why you always gotta be right? Tell me why you're so uptight. If it's all for show, gotta let shit go, gotta let shit go. Can't dwell on it your whole life. Get back, I don't want your static. Nothing but a drama addict. Those repeated cycles. I have studied all your habits, but the way you stare at me, you savage. Try to pawn your pain on me, return the sender. Get you treasured.
Moving on.
Now it's time for me to work.
Wave my magic wand.
No more dragging me through the dirt. Teach you right from wrong. Run you like a marathon. Once that truth turns to karma, you're done.
Demon be gone.
You're a narcissist. Can't hide it when it shows. Tied down by your traumas and now they won't let you go. You're a narcissist. A reaction is your aim. I'll just give it nothing. Watch you lose at your own game. You're a narcissist.
It's always your way.
It's your lane. Doesn't matter what I try to say. Define. You want what's mine. Try to bring me down. Try to take me out, but you can't steal my shine. Try to take my soul. Try to switch them roles. That destiny swapping, mocking, blocking shit. It's a no-go. All that ego doesn't fit. Only care for the glam. Only care for the glitz. Way too grubby, but you wanna give gifts. Indian giver on a power trip. Acting like you rich.
All the money in the world can change your attitude. Love bomb if you want.
Won't change my point of view on you as you laugh and you flaunt. Take your exit too. You're no match for the highest with authority over you. True. Now back to the money. Say you built the hive, forcing me the honey. Don't wanna be exposed, so you're acting all chummy. No one is around, now you wanna act funny. Bummy, pick a personality, many burn bridges. Friendship fatality, you see it one way. I see duality like calories, burn away them dark principalities. You're a narcissist, can't hide it when it shows. Tied down by your traumas, and now they won't let you go. You're a narcissist, a reaction is your aim. I'll just give you nothing, what you lose at your own game. You're a narcissist, it's always your way, it's your lane.
Oh, I don't even know if I want to listen to her. She's always trying to play it off so nice and make it seem like, where's that first office meeting at? I mean, you know,
been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time and very well. We had a little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And
you got to watch the body language in this first February conversation. Watch the body language. This is when our president was arguing for the ceasefire.
United States, and we appreciate working with you very much. And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. It's something that you want and that he wants. We have to negotiate a deal, but we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of soldiers mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. They're losing thousands of soldiers. So on both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop. And we want to see the money get put to different kinds of use, like rebuilding. And we're going to be working very hard. But we've had a lot of very good conversations. And we'll say until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody. They just allowed this to continue. And I will say that, I'll say in front of you, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, if I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you without having to go through what you've gone through. But your soldiers have been unbelievably brave. We've given them great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment. They've been unbelievably brave, and we give them great credit. This was supposed to be over very quickly, and here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself in the sense that it's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters. And you have to be very proud of them from that standpoint. But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? We want to get it over with. So it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to sign the agreement at the conference in the East Room in a little while, right after lunch. And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other things. And we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when we when they stop the shooting and we end up with a deal. And I think we're fairly close to getting that, and an honor to have you. And please, I'd like to say something.
No, thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for your invitation. And really, I hope that this first document, will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine, our people, our children. I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course, the infrastructure or security guarantees. Because for today, I understand what Europe is ready to do. And of course, I want to discuss with you what the United States will be ready to do. And I really count on your strong position to stop Putin. And you said that enough with the war. I think that is very important, Ben, to say these words to Putin at the very beginning. At the very beginning of war, because he's a killer and terrorist. But I hope that together we can stop him. But for us, it's very important to, to save our country, our values, our freedom, the democracy, and of course, no compromises with the killer about our territories, but it will be later. And of course, what I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you about the drones production. We have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course, we need very much the air defense. You have the best air defense in the world, and really you helped us under attacks of Russians. And I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to share the licenses of all our drones with you, of course, with the United States. And we need licenses for quick production of air defense. Even after the war, we need our nation to be calm, that we are secure. So that's why we need this air shield. And of course, about this, I want to speak about the contingents. I think that France and UK already spoke to you, and we know that Europe is ready, but without the United States, they will not be ready to be as strong as we need. And then the last point, last not least, about exchange, about our people and children. And you know that this crazy Russian, that they stolen 20,000 of children, Ukrainian children. They changed their names, they changed their families, relatives, and now they're in Russia. We want to bring them back, and really, it's a big dream, task, and goal for me, and our warriors. By the way, Mr. President, we released more than 4,000 warriors from Russian prison, but there are thousands more in the prison. I wanted to share with you some images. How it's. You have just can I now?
Yeah, please.
Some So 1 minute. 1 minute. Just you to understand in what circumstances, in what situation they are, and what the attitude of Russia to our prisoners. That guys, just you before and after. And you see before and after, just you to understand. Now thousands of such guys, ladies and men, there, and that, so they don't eat, they beat them, and they, you know, do a lot of, you know, bad things. So out of, even during the war, there are rules. Everybody knows there are rules during the war. These guys, they don't have any rules. You see that 50, 60 kilograms to them, and a lot of such things. And I didn't want to show you what the changes with images of children, because I will just share with you. And I mean, it's looking tragic.
That's tough stuff.
Yeah, I wanted very much to give you, and you see.
Yeah.
This is pastor, by the way. They stolen pastors because it's not Russian church. They stolen pastors and moved pastors to the prison. We, at the end of last year, we brought 3 pastors, and we could exchange them. And this is pastor, you see.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, so I mean, this I wanted to show you, and this. So thank you very much.
We want to get that ended, right?
Yeah, of course, we
And
will.
I think we will. And
We have to, of course.
do you have any questions for us?
Thank you, Mr. President. With the, how much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today, and how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
We don't got no money.
How much, because we're going to
We
be
is
putting some
broke.
money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking and sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money will be made from the sale and from the use of raw earth. And as you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil and gas, but we don't have a lot of the raw earth. And what we do have is protected by the environmentalists, but that could be unprotected, but still it's not very much. They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're going to be using that, using it for all of the things we do, including AI and including weapons and the military, and it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So it's something that just worked out really well. We have a lot of oil and we have a lot of gas, we have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this has just about every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all of the things we do.
And
This puts us in great shape.
And on long-term security.
What?
All
the raw earth we need.
I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin, and I feel very strong. I've known him for a long time.
We selling dirt?
And I feel very strongly that they're
We
very
dirt
serious
sellers?
about it. And we'll make a deal. And when the deal is made, I don't think, we talk about security. Everyone's talking about the other day, all they talked about was security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now. We have to have a deal, because right now, last week, 2,000 soldiers died on both sides. 2,000. And they're losing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting shot and dying on the battlefield. And, you know, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to stop it. And we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to, this is a tremendous amount of money.
Minerals, I know.
What the Biden administration did was terrible. They were giving money, but he had no
But
security
remember
on
when
the
I
money.
said that earlier, they
As
was
you
in the
know,
chat
they had
like,
much less
you don't
money,
know
but
what
they
you're
had
talking
security. It was
about.
in the form of a loan. They get their money back, and we didn't. And now, at least we're protected, because the American taxpayer has to be protected too. But this is an incredible agreement for Ukraine, because we have a big investment in their country now, and what they have, very few people have. And we're able to really go forward with very, very high-tech things and many other things, including weaponry that we're going to use in many locations, but that we need for our country.
Mr. President.
This allows us to do that.
I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead, please.
If I can just yes. in the document, there is one of the very important points. If we speak about business and investment, we never had LNG terminals in Ukraine. This document will open. I mean, the next document, but anyway, here we see in the framework, we see a really goodwill for this. LNG terminals for us is very important, and I think for security of European continent. We have the biggest storage, gas storage. We have the biggest in Europe. Yes, yes, and we can use it. Use it for LNG. Use it for LNG, and we will do it. And really, we can help Europe because Europe really helped. President Trump said that they made less support, but they are our friends and they are our very supportive partners. They really gave a lot, Mr. President. They did.
They gave a lot, but they gave much less.
No.
Much less.
No.
No.
Okay.
Mr. President Trump, you have repeatedly called the deal with Ukraine as a historical one. And as a President of the United States, you make historical decisions in other issues which affect America and other world. So what place in the world history do you want to take? And do you associate yourself with any famous historical figures?
Yeah, I'd say George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I would say I'm far superior to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Now, you know I'm only kidding, right? Because when I say that, the fake news is going to go wild. They're going to say he considers himself to be better than Washington. But you never know. You never know. I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm here to do a job. We've had a great 35 days or whatever it might be, a month, a little more than a month. We've accomplished tremendous amounts. Not only this would be a very great achievement if we could get the war stopped and get them back to normalization. I think that's going to happen. We've had very good talks on both sides, as you know, but I think we've done a very good job, just generally. If you look at all of the things we've done in 30 days, they're saying there's never been a opening for a president. The first month, there's never been a first month like we've had. And this is one of the very important things. This, to me, is one of the most important things because we have tremendous death taking place as we speak, and I don't want to have that. You know, think of the parents, whether they're in Russia or Ukraine, think of the parents of all these people being
we
killed
talking during the show,
needlessly.
They came to our territory.
Should have never started. This would have, if I were president, this would have never started.
Mr. President, will you continue sending military aid to Ukraine after the U.S. signs this agreement with Ukraine?
Yeah, we're going to be continuing.
President Zelensky, do you feel like the U.S. is on your side? That President Trump is on your side at this moment?
Right.
What do you think?
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question. I guess we wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
I think that the United States on our side from the very beginning of occupation, and I think that President Trump on our side, and of course, I'm sure that the United States President will not stop support. This is crucial for us. It's important for us. Yes. And Putin, the president, speaks about the people and the soldiers which are dying, but they came to our territory, they came to our land. They began this war, and they have to stop. And I think this is the question, was really the most important question. Can President Trump, I hope yes, with some other allies, to stop Putin, withdraw these enemies, our enemy, withdraw these troops from our land? And I think that you asked about the history, I think that if President, or when, he will stop Putin, if President Trump will bring peace to our country, I think he will be on this wall in time.
We've had very, very good talks.
President Zelensky just said that there will be no compromises with Vladimir Putin. I just wanted to ask both of you. Firstly, are there compromises that you think that President Zelensky is going to have to make? And President Zelensky, is there anything that you might be thinking that you may be able to offer or bring to the table, for example, elections? Thank you.
I think you're going to have to always make compromises. You can't do any deals without compromises. So certainly he's going to have to make some compromises, but hopefully they won't be as big as some people think you're going to have to make. That's all. That's all we can do. I'm here as an arbitrator, as a mediator to a certain extent between two parties that have been very hostile. To put it mildly, they've been very hostile. There's been a vicious war. There's been a vicious war. You know, it's a very level battlefield, and those bullets go out, and as I've said many times, we were talking about it with Pete, many times the only thing stopping those bullets is a human body. And in the case we're talking about, generally young human bodies are stopping a lot of bullets. It's dead level. That's why it's great farmland. It's great land. It's great farmland, but there's very little protection against the bullets that are being, and other things that are being shot. So all I can do is see if I can get everybody at the table and get an agreement. And I think we're going to end up with an agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably be even here today.
Mr. President, I've got two questions for you. You think ultimately your legacy will be the peacemaker and not the president that led this country into another war and ended foreign wars? And I've got a question.
I hope it will. I mean, I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this to save lives more than anything else. Second is to save a lot of money, but I consider that to be far less important. So I hope I'm going to, thank you, Brian, for that question. It was a nice question. I hope I'll be known and recognized as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing to solve. This is a very dangerous situation. You know, this could lead to a third world war. This was headed in the wrong direction. If this election were lost, if we didn't win this election, and we won it by a lot, that was a mandate. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won everything. The districts, you look at the areas of red, take a look at a map. This was a big mandate, and this was one of the things I said, we're going to get this thing settled. If we didn't win, I think this could have very well ended up in a third world war, and that would not have been a good situation. What was your second question?
And my second question for President Zelensky, why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest, why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting the dignity of this office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something
like yours,
yes.
Maybe something better, I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Trump. You said yesterday that you have...
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine, yeah, sure. Hopefully I won't have to send very much, because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing this quickly. We're not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we very much appreciate the agreement, because we needed what they had, and we're treating, you know, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But, you know, sure, the answer is yes, but hopefully we won't have to send much, because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that mean you provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet, because I want to get the deal done. You know, you fall into the same trap like everybody else. A million times you say it over and over. I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy. That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried about getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stopped shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know France is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceivably. You know, we have security in a different form. We'll have workers there digging, taking the raw earth so that we can create a lot of great product in this country. So in that sense, you have something, but we haven't determined that yet. I will say, in speaking to France and in speaking to, and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day, they have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this deal ends, I really believe this deal is going to be over.
Question?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you. You had Mr. Macron and Keir Starmer at the White House this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Yes.
Part of that involved, though, re-engaging Russia in diplomatic relations, something that previous leaders lacked the conviction to do so. What gave you the moral courage and conviction to step forward and lead that?
Well, I love this guy. Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Well, that's why I like him. One American News does a great job. I like the question. I think it's a very good question. It's a pathway to peace. It's a pathway to getting something solved. And I feel that as the head of this country, I have an obligation to do that. Plus, you know, we're very much involved. We got involved. It's too bad we got involved because there should have been no involvement, because there should have been no war. And there shouldn't have been October 7th. That would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They had no money to give to Hezbollah. They had no money to give to Hamas. They were stone cold broke. And then under Biden, they became rich as hell. They went from no money to $300 billion in a period of 4 years. And they gave a lot of that money away, and you see what happened. And that's a real mess also that we hope to be able to solve. But no, I appreciate your question very much. It's just, I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
If I can answer, yes, if I can answer, sorry, please.
And I do like your clothing, though.
Yeah, really?
Even though I think he's a great guy, by the way. But I don't know if you two like each other, but you know what? I think he's dressed.
I like this guy.
I think he's dressed beautifully.
So I have more serious things than answer on such questions. I will answer on more serious questions if I can. Yeah, so please, about security guarantees and about ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will never work, because I'm like the president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency, from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times. 25 times he broken his own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke.
No, you were the president. You were the president during.
He never broke to me.
In 2016, you've been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you, but he had during those period, he had conversations with our side. And we had Normandy format, you know, the France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia. And he broken 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees. Security guarantees, maybe President is right about this document and other, but this document is not enough. Strong army is enough, because his soldiers afraid, Putin's soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty, we can't defend our land. Today, you know, he knows that we have, all the world knows that we have meeting, yes? Why he's using ballistic? Putin today using ballistic on our hospitals, schools, and etc. Ballistic. So he knows that we are here, and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop this war. And you hear now the president. So why he's using? So he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want. But I hope that we will do it. Really, we'll do it. Security, when we speak about security guarantees, when the Europeans are ready for contingents, they need.
You listen how this conversation went compared to how the next conversation went. This was the first conversation back in February.
Strong contingents from the Europeans, because they don't want to divide alliance connection between the United States and the main and strongest ally and Europeans. This is crucial. This is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So air defense, really, we have big deficit with all these systems, and we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop and will go further and further. He doesn't want. He hates us. You know, it's not about me. He hates Ukrainians. He thinks that we are not a nation. He thinks, and he shared these thoughts. I think maybe with your team also. I don't know, but with all the Europeans, in media, official and not, he always said that there is no such country, such nation, such language, and such life like Ukrainian. No, he really doesn't respect all the Ukrainians, and he wants to destroy us. And you are right, Mr. President. That's 2%. This document, maybe other documents, it's a very good start, very good, but it will not enough to stop this person.
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
Mr. President, under these
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
They have to pay. This is the rule. This is rule of the war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay.
Do you agree
This
with
is the rule. Putin began this war. He has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay. Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300 billion, we can use them. We can use for innovation and buy military support from the United States also. We can.
You see what he just said? You see what he said? He said we have Russian assets, that 3 billion worth of Russian assets that we can use, or we can use, to buy weapons from the United States. That's what they're talking about right now. Before, the Ukraine didn't have a way. And now, because of the fighting, they now have Russian assets that they can use to buy, barter, or trade with. That's the 300 billion that they talking about. This ain't no fucking, excuse me. There's nothing involved. This is money, trade. You hear what he just said? He's telling right here, this first meeting, he's telling. He said, of course, we now have Russian assets, 300 billion that we can use to buy weapons from, listen to him.
They have to pay. This is the rule. This is rule of the war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay. This is the rule. Putin began this war. He has to pay all money for innovation.
Right here.
He has to pay.
Right here.
Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300 billion, we can use them. We can use for innovation and buy military support from the United States also. We can do it, but it's not enough.
See?
It's not enough.
Now, he said, thanks to that program, whatever program it was that allowed them to get this assets, resources, whatever it is, now they have the ability to pay for some stuff, thanks to NATO, other resources, so on and so forth.
Do you envision the Trilateral summit with Putin and President Zelensky?
Wait 1 second.
I asked this question that you didn't like because I wanted to know if you want to position yourself in the middle between Russia and Ukraine, or on the Ukraine's side.
I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm for both. I want to get it solved.
Damn.
And, it's
What was
wonderful
that pause? What was that pause right there? Was he about to say, I'm for Putin? What was Trump about to say? Trump had a pause right. He said, I'm for.
Do you envision the Trilateral summit with
Who belt is this?
President Zelensky?
What belt is this? They giving out World Wrestling Federation belt. What the fuck is it? WBC belt?
In the middle between Russia and Ukraine, or on the Ukraine's side.
No, I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm for both. I want to get it solved. And it's wonderful to speak badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up with one more question about U.S. troops in Europe? After Russian invasion of Ukraine, your predecessor sent additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country.
Yeah.
Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland has really stepped up and done a great job for NATO. They, as you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known. I'm very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood, you know.
What about the Baltics?
The Baltics, they got a lot of, it's a tough neighborhood too. But we're committed. We're going to be very committed, and we're committed to NATO. But NATO has to
This is
step
all
up,
about
and
money,
the Europeans
man.
have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize, because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between, why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful, but we have put in far more than they have, and I think they should equalize.
Mr. President,
Yeah, please, go ahead.
About the agreement again today, what changed between the first time that Secretary Bessent gave President Zelensky the agreement and today for the signing?
We made a deal. So
What was the
I'm just,
deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed.
Mr. President,
I didn't think we were going to make a deal, and we ended up making the deal, so that changed.
Mr. President, what and how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelensky and Putin?
I don't know, but well, they don't like each other. I can tell you that. They do not like each other. This is not a love match.
See?
And it's unfortunate. That's
So
why you're.
this was back in February. You hear the reporter say, what do you think about a trilateral between Putin? And then he speaks about the statement that they have, right? So all the way back in February, it's always been, you know, to try to get both parties to sit down, right?
In this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen, okay? The United States, run by a man that didn't know much, I'm going to be very nice, run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people
Listen
will
to
tell you,
that.
I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started. You can look at some of, I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I could tell you
Why
right now
would he
there's a
bring up
nation
Biden,
thinking
though?
about
Why
going
would
to
he
war
bring up Biden?
on something that nobody in this
He
room has ever
blamed
even
their
heard
war
about.
on Biden.
Smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it.
Is he willing
But,
to
this should have
issue
never
like a
happened.
punishment for that?
About sorry, just a second. About any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I
What's
think
going
that
on,
everybody
Sonny
understands
Smiles?
that Ukraine, modern Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop.
Hey, real quick, we got about 20 more minutes of watching. 20 more minutes of watching. We're gonna play a song real quick, and I want everybody to put their states, cities, countries, put, emojis in the comment section with the states. As much activity in the comment section as possible. Come on, just one song. Okay, let me switch the song. This one might not be it. Hold on. How about this one? Come on. New York in the building. What's going on? Jason from New York. Appreciate you for being here. South Georgia, always glad to have you. What's going on? Followed up with the emojis. Let's go. One time just for a little bit of activity.
But baby, you in denial. What about your A-list family? Such a terrible sight for us.
There's only 2 people in here? Damn. Okay. We'll take it. Hey, shout out to everybody else in the back. Everybody in the bushes, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Okay, there they go. Nebraska in the building. Austria. Chris with the music emojis. Love is love. Appreciate it. UK in the building. Appreciate you for being here. Good day, mate. Appreciate you. Callie. What's good, Callie? People's Republican of Illinois. What's going on, Illinois? Appreciate you. Hey, we just vibing, we just chilling, keeping posted with what's going on. There's a lot of activity that's going on in the world that could affect a lot of us. It could affect a lot of us, so we got to keep up on it. Current events, what's going on all over the place. We got to keep up. Pull you up to speed.
Glitz covered up some real life ish. So much scandal, $1 million vandal, nasty, freaky, dirty parties all oiled, leaving the hotel.
Right, making America trade again. Making America trade again. Say that.
Is you guilty or not? Is you guilty or not? I'm giving anything to know. Is you guilty or not? Is you guilty or not? Is you guilty or not? Cause if you're guilty, then I'm letting you go. Is you guilty or not? Is you guilty or not? Is you guilty or not? I'm giving anything to know. Is you guilty or not? Is you guilty or not?
Alright, sorry about that.
But
let's get back in it. Let's get back in it.
Negotiations, it's understandable that.
Hey, we got to keep a rotation. We got to keep a rotation.
Not Russia and the United States.
Hey, we're going to get those hats.
Not the war between
I'm going to make those hats. Make America trade again.
Of Russia
I'm going
against
to make those
Ukraine
hats.
and Ukrainian people. So these two sides will be at the
Would that be meta?
Will be at the negotiation table. Then of course United States, like the
Is that called a meta hat?
Of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. Yes, Europe is very important for us because we really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending line, and they have real life, and our people are dying. That's why they helped us. And also, it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way. But first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been in the USSR. You know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not? Your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kyiv or Odessa, which is going to be a dirty year with Black Sea?
It was my question.
Sorry.
Yeah, go left right here.
Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No.
And a lot of things have
Mr. President, you have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things have been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online. But we live. Ukraine is fighting, and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us. No, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers. He lost everything. Yes. So,
Mr. President, one more. I mentioned Poland.
Please, go ahead.
When did you last speak with President Putin, and what did he say that?
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on his behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco, and we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about it?
We have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of theirs, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made at Munich, and I think is a very compelling one, that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
Mr. President. It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the President's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President, on the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all critical?
A little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world, by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
Mr. President, I just wanted to ask you about, you just mentioned that you'd spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you...
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay. How was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am. I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian
They'll
forces?
be protected. The agreement will protect them.
U.S.
The
forces?
agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement.
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots?
I just told you, I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
You know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions. Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings, I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go.
This is already, I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough.
And here's where the crazy. Here's where it happens.
That's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it,
a lot of money exchanging during this time.
And Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014
2014.
and 2014.
2014?
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but,
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire, all of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken the ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people, you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
you.
Far more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please.
Damn.
You think that
Listen how
if
they
you will
talk to
speak
him.
very loudly about the war, you
He's
can
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I
You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's gonna be a very hard thing to do business like this, I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that
to American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You
That
have to
was
be thankful.
crazy work to
You
say
don't have the
that.
cards. You're buried there, your people are dying,
tell you
you're
they
running
can't-
low
I
on
know.
soldiers.
Don't
Listen,
please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting
Of
killed.
course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire?
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
is-
with me.
It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
But this
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your president.
Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me, that was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is, Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You gotta be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards, but without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. Sorry,
It's gonna be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
What if
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if the bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony
No,
Hunter
that's called,
Biden.
that
Joe
is,
Biden's
that is Marsha. That's not Russia. That is the Brady Bunch, Marsha.
scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he did. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if he can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen it enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right, we'll see what we can do about putting it together.
So we got to keep you guys posted on this. We got to keep you guys up to par on this, everything that's going on with this. Make sure you hit the like button. You know, that's been our time for today. Love is love. Namaste, Ashe, salutation, salam. If nobody told you that they love you today, let me be the first but not the last to tell you that I love you. Remember, one's image of oneself should be greater than reality. We are going over to TikTok to probably play the game for a little bit. I got to do a workout, and then we'll be back later on for more streaming. Might, you know, have a little bit of spiritual to add to all of this stuff that's going on in the world right now. So we're going to be bringing in how does this affect us and what does this mean for everybody. And we're going to bring in the spiritual aspect of everything and bring everything full circle. So that's why we're keeping people posted on what's going on, you know. And that's it. Just keep moving in love. If you see hatred come in the comment section, ignore it, overlook it. You know, they probably mad because, you know, somebody loved you. They wanna vibe with love is love. 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 Seems you got problems every day. Always got trouble coming your way. If you're gonna dish it up, then take it. If you're gonna wish it up, just face it. And don't be mad to hear me say, you're mad, you're mad, you're mad, you're mad cause they love me. I said you're mad, you're mad, you're mad, you're mad cause they love me. They wanna vibe with love is love. 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 Yeah. Always what's happened to you. How about them crazy things you do? If you gon' dish it, then eat it. Hungry ego and you feed it. Starve yourself for what is true. Because you're mad, you're mad, you're mad, you're mad cause they love me. I said you're mad, you're mad, you're mad, you're mad cause they love me. They wanna vibe with love is love. They wanna vibe with love is love. They wanna vibe.